Welcome to the Nerd Cave Newz. I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined along with the turtle loving, Gene wearing, taquito eating son of a gun. It's Ricky, the Dragon Boat.
All right, I like that. I'll say it's a little play on Cobra Kai. I feel like, and but definitely Ricky Steamboat from WWE.
Yeah, I messed it up because I said Ricky, the Dragon Boat, but it's Ricky, the Dragon Steamboat. But whatever, whatever.
Okay, with this we
Roll with it, Ricky.
Exactly, we roll with it, and plus it beats a copyright strike later on.
Yeah, we're not stealing anything. By the way, if you haven't watched Cobra Kai, me and Amy just finished season 5. Holy moly, such a good show. Derek, have you watched it?
Nope.
Dude, so good.
So
good. So good.
What I hear. I'll have to give it a try one day.
It's well worth the watch, if you know what I mean. Well worth the watch. Better than The Office. I'm gonna just say that.
Oh wow! Don't say that too loud. Some people will get offended.
I will fight them because as I learned, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Cobra Kai until we die, baby. Cobra Kai until we die. Oh, Lord. Amy says, what in the world? Yeah, I wrote that one today. While I was eating lunch.
I was going to say, definitely on your lunch break for sure.
Yeah. So he's turtle loving. He's Gene wearing. He's taquito eating. He's a son of a gun. This is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. WWE Hall of Fame. WWE World Champion. Intercontinental Champion. Tag Team Champion as well.
Wow. Very decorated.
Very decorated. And he also wrestled at WCW as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you don't know who Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is, y'all need to go look him up. Some of the best matches with the Macho Man Randy Savage and
oh yeah,
little known champion called Ric Flair.
Oh yeah,
16-time kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, jet setting, limousine riding son of a gun.
Yeah. Styling and profiling.
Amy says, I need to come up with more names. Yeah, you do. But I've been writing all the names in the last few weeks. I'm going to just say that, guys. Some people are like, these aren't very good. It's like, well, there's a link down below if you want a name.
You can change that if you want to. You know what I mean? Like, don't be sitting on your 5-gallon bucket complaining and pointing your finger like, this sucks. Well, change it yourself.
You heard it from Derek. He's the one that has to put up with the names. All right. He's got to put up with them. So instead of him getting these like 2-minute lunch names, you can give him a good name.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the Nerd Cave Newz, where each and every week we run you through all the video game news that you need to know. You can watch us live on youtube.com/NerdCave Network on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and that like button so you don't miss out on anything and helps more people see the video. We do have a podcast version that hasn't been put out in the last few weeks because guess what? I've had a new job. And I've been busy. But we will get back to that very, very soon. So if you want to go check out those podcasts, and we will put the back catalog of the last few weeks in the next few weeks, you can go check them out on podcast services around the globe. There's a siren on Derek's end.
Yeah.
Just letting y'all know. So y'all be like, oh, the Popo's after me. The Popo.
I mean, baby, who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know what y'all do.
What'd you do last summer?
Nothing.
Not give a 5-star review on our podcast yet, so you need to go take care of that. You can support us by using Epic Game Store, and you become a wonderful patron. Let's talk about that Epic Game Store first. You can support us by using creator code NerdCave at checkout in the Epic Game Store. Even on free games, it does help us out. Get those V-Bucks, those Sony games with our creator code NerdCave at checkout and be epic.
I'll say Uncharted Legacy of Thieves just dropped yesterday.
You can become part of the ship, part of the exclusive crew by going over to patreon.com/nerdcave, just like our wonderful crew members. The first mate, Brandon Hicks. Our helmsman, the conductor, our gunners, Daniel Sanford, Rushing Water Joga, Marilyn James, Brittany the Granny B. Harrison, and our deckhand, Martin Sager. This is October. We are in the middle of a game club game called Wreckfest. And, this job's been wrecking my schedule
I
and
know.
all the things that I'm trying to do. So I've played this game once, and that was on stream last Tuesday.
Same. I have only played it once as well, and that was the last time we talked about it. So yeah.
And that was kind of the, I'm gonna just show a little bit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That was kind of the plan. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I was like,
we're trying to save up our energy for the game.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to jump into yes, I want to play Requiem. Yes, I want to possibly play Gotham Knights, but I was like, I can't put in this time right now. So I was like, we're just going to pick something that, we can dip a toe in a little bit.
Right.
And the community seemed to be enjoying it. So guys, go play Wreckfest. We're gonna be talking about that at the beginning of next month, which is, dude, it's like a little bit away.
Yeah. Where's that beautiful countdown timer?
Derek, you asked
for
things, and then I have to scramble to do stuff over here because Kevin.
Oh, come on.
All right, there we go. God of War Ragnarok comes out in 19 days, 5 hours and 18 minutes. And 54 seconds.
Less than 3 weeks. Oh my gosh.
Now, Derek.
So close. I can
say,
start to taste it.
You know what else I can taste?
What?
I can taste some wedding cake because when we review Wreckfest, Derek, it'll be the day before Brandon Hicks, the first mate himself, the salty Santa, gets married to the love of his life, Jessica.
Wow.
Yeah, I can almost taste that cake.
So, I mean, is that a foreshadowing that, we've reviewed Wreckfest, and is it going to be a wreck?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
I don't wish that on Brandon, but I'm just saying there's some kind of cruel irony in there somewhere.
You just show up and you're like, Brandon, you've been talking a lot of crap.
Yeah. No, they're going to get to the wedding. Part of the way is like, does anyone object? I object.
But you're going to find out Brandon is a tall drink of water. He is tall, dude. He is tall. He's built.
Look, if I can get used to Judah,
True. He's not as tall as Judah, but yeah, he's tall. He's built too. He's built. So I'm just putting that out there.
That's all that construction work.
And probably eating food, We could literally be saying anything we want right now about Brandon because he's not in the chat right now.
Yeah,
we could be like, yeah, Brandon is. I was going to say something nice, Derek. By the way, guys, Derek owes me $5, guys, because he lost a bet.
You treading that line of me just Venmoing you.
You over here hating on. Brandon says he is in the chat.
I am in the chat. I knew he was going to show up.
I thought he'd be like, I am the chat. Like Batman, I am vengeance.
Swear to me.
See, I was trying to be nice. And you're over here beating up on the first mate, Derek.
But he gives it right back, so it's okay.
That's your kind of thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, Cody says Brandon beats puppies and kittens.
Woof.
I don't know about that.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
I don't know. I don't know what he does in his free time.
Don't make me join the call.
So, real quick aside. Anything that she doesn't know, put NA on there. Not applicable. So anything that doesn't, just put NA. Anything, yeah. And then we'll talk about it. Anyway, there you go. And there's me. I'm full screen now because I accidentally hit a button. And now we're back to me and Derek. All right, guys. We'll let Kevin deal with that editing on that one. So let's get into what is and what forever will be the gaming discussions. First up, Sonic Frontiers trailer looks at Blue Blur's new combat and skill tree system, and we got a video for you guys. We got you a sweet Vigimo. Did you know that's how they pronounce that in Cambodia?
Sounds like a good Digimon name.
That would, man. I'm gonna just say this: Digimon was way better than Pokemon as a show.
As a show, yeah, I'll agree.
As a show, it was like way better. But the games, like Digimon's games, always sucked.
Yeah, no, and they try different genres every once in a while. I'm like, nah, y'all need to chill.
Always sucked. But let's check out this Sonic Frontiers combat and upgrade system. Let's check out Sonic Frontiers combat and upgrades.
Sonic Frontiers introduces a new take on the action-adventure and platforming genres by combining blistering speed with blazing combat.
This looks like Ultra Instinct.
For the first time, Sonic has
Yeah.
a skill tree full of exciting and powerful new abilities to learn. To unlock new skills, you'll need to collect enough skill pieces from fallen enemies and breakable items around the islands. Sonic also has his standard moveset, including a homing attack, drop dash, and stomp at the beginning of the game. While these moves are effective against normal enemies, you'll need to level up and unlock new skills if you want to take on bigger and stronger foes awaiting you on the Starfall Islands. A normal enemy on Kronos Island is nothing compared to those on later islands. So make sure you're collecting the red seeds of power and blue seeds of defense to boost your stats and give yourself a fighting chance.
How big is each island gonna be? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
As the game progresses and Sonic levels up, so do your enemies. Completing combos is a good way to get the upper hand during battle, especially when paired with a new skill called Phantom Rush. Sonic's combo meter will fill up after attacking enemies consecutively. Once the combo meter is maxed out, Phantom Rush is activated, and your attack power will be boosted until the meter reaches 0. To deal massive amounts of damage in a short burst, use Sonic Boom, a long-range, high-speed kick that unleashes shockwaves at the enemy. Another option to dish out major hurt on your enemies is Wild Rush, a flashy, zigzagging attack that sends you crashing into your targets with great force. It's a fast and stylish way to hit your enemies hard while avoiding incoming fire.
Okay, makes sense.
Sounds like a good
Certain enemies in Sonic Frontiers have a shield or barrier protecting them. Break their shield with Psyloop and then deal as much damage as you can before it goes back up. If your opponent happens to land a hit on you, just use the Psyloop ability on the ground to collect more rings and get back in the fight. During combat, you'll need to study your opponents and determine the best strategy to take them on. Encounters with Guardians will require more than just using your homing attack. Many of them prompt you to engage with their unique combat mechanics first before reaching their weak spot. Once you have an opening, you can dish out all the skills you've unlocked in your skill tree. Experimenting with new abilities and discovering each enemy's weakness will help you
talk about that one right there.
Yeah.
Who parries?
Use your enemy's moves against them by utilizing parry
Try
during
hard.
combat.
That's true.
We just
A
dodge.
visual cue lets you know when an enemy is about to attack. If you react quickly enough, you can parry it and follow it up with a counterattack of your own.
Fits it.
Using all these skills and more gives you tons of options to become the most formidable force in the frontier. Master your approach to battle and teach your enemies not to mess with Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right. November 8th. It's still crazy that it is coming out like
the day before God of War.
The day before God of War, but hey, you know.
Especially since these look so like this trailer in particular looked really cool. So it's like I want to believe in it, but I only have a day to care about it, and then
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, it's like I'm not a huge fan of. I almost said Zelda. I'm not a huge fan of this of Sonic or anything, but it does look really good. Like it might actually get me to try it out later down the road.
Especially if it comes to Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Random Cool says, looks like Breath of the Wild. I was definitely feeling some Breath of the Wild, especially when they're like Guardians and it was like they're like armored up and everything. And I'm like, they don't have the cool sound effects that Breath of the Wild.
Where's the laser beam eyes?
Yeah, where my laser beam boys at? And then I have like bad memories of Dan convincing me to go to like the castle at the very beginning after I get off the plateau to try to get the sword. He's like, yeah, man, you can totally go do it. And it's like, Guardian's just like, and I was like, yeah, totally, Dan. Totally.
Yeah.
You liar. You big old liar.
He'll, you know, his comeback will probably be, I didn't say it'd be easy. I just said you could do it.
Oh yeah, 100%. That is Dan. 100%. Or my favorite, did you say something? Did you say something? That is also Dan. Cody says it looks really cool, just afraid it may become repetitive. And that is the big issue with open world games, is that it does become repetitive very easily. Looking at you, Gotham Knights. Like a lot of these games easily can fall into that trap. So only time will tell. Put a 5 in chat if you're going, or in the comments. Are you going to get this, or are you going to save your moolah? You know, people only got so much time. They only got so much money. Are you getting
especially
this
in today's world?
Or are you getting God of War? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I know what I'm.
But
getting.
Also depends on what system you have, because I mean, if you don't have a PlayStation, sorry, you can't get God of War. But Sonic could be a good substitute.
You know,
you know, definitely better than Skull and Bones, that's for sure.
Yeah, at least Sonic kept its date. You know what else didn't keep? Like a bad piece of steak that's like rancid. You know what I mean? It's just sat in the back of the fridge and it's turned moldy. It's grody. You know what I mean? Talking about some G4. My love. The place that really made me love video games. G4. Oof. We got a story for you. I want to hit 2 comments before we do that. I think we'll not get it just because I've never been the biggest fan of Sonic. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Agree, Carter. G4, guys, is being shut down less than a year after it launched. And it's sad.
So, yeah, it is sad. R.I.P. As reported by Deadline, Comcast Spectacor chairman and CEO David Scott penned a letter to all employees saying G4 is being discontinued immediately. The quote reads, "Team, as you know, G4 was reintroduced last year to tap into the popularity of gaming. We invested to create the new G4 as an online and TV destination for fans to be entertained, be inspired, and connect with gaming content. Over the past several months, we worked hard to generate that interest in G4, but viewership is low and the network has not achieved sustainable financial results. This is certainly not what we hoped for, and as a result, we have made the very difficult decision to discontinue G4's operations effective immediately. I know this is disappointing news, and I'm disappointed too. I want to thank you and everyone on the G4 team for the hard work and commitment to the network. Our human resources team is reaching out to you to provide you with support, discuss other opportunities that may be available, and answer any questions you may have." End quote. G4 officially relaunched on November 16th, 2021, and it had a plan to not only launch on the channel lineups of Verizon, Fios, Cox, and Xfinity TV, but also to stream on Philo, and collaborate with Twitch on a multi-year promotional and commercial partnership through G4's official Twitch channel. This news appears to have come as a surprise, as G4 host Gerard the Completionist shared that a tweet about the G4 shutdown from WarioWare64 is how he found out he lost his job. Gerard wasn't the only one, as Alex Goldenboy Mendez revealed he was in, quote, active negotiations for his new contract with G4. Emily Rose found out about the news via the Deadline article, and as she was flying home from her grandfather's funeral. Our hearts go out to three. Our hearts go out to these three and all others impacted by this news. Um, so my thoughts, like I didn't watch the new G4 obviously because I didn't have a means to watch it. But just as an outside looking in, because I'd forgotten, well, I didn't forget G4 launched last year, but I forgot
Yeah.
it's barely been a year since it launched.
Yeah.
Because if you had said G4 still on like 3 months ago, G4 still on, I'm like, okay, that's news to me. Because they didn't, after it launched, they didn't market it or they didn't promote their stuff that well. Like, yeah, it was on
Yeah.
certain cable packages that some people, like only certain people had it if they got it. Like Xfinity would have been the most popular one. But Twitch, I think they came too late to the party with Twitch, or had ideas too late about streaming on Twitch. I feel like they should have done that from the get go, or make it at least within the first month of launch. But yeah, the marketing team, terrible. Like you could have seen this thing like plastered on IGN, Game Informer, Kotaku, like any of the big gaming sites that you go to look up your news on a daily basis. They were missing an opportunity to plaster and be like, hey, you can check a new episode of this show on G4 or whatever it is,
Yeah.
if you have this cable provider, or stream it on Twitch. Like, I feel like part of what I don't want to say it was the cause, obviously, because we don't know what else happened, but I feel like one of the big, like, what if something goes wrong for like a piece of media, what is the number one thing? Because that you can point to? Marketing. Like, what was this marketed well enough? Did this reach
Yeah.
enough audiences to everyone? Because it's like, to kind of cross streams here, it's like the WNBA. The WNBA has gotten better over the years, like competition wise, but but they hardly do any marketing outside of the playoffs, so no one knows when to watch it, and that's why viewership is laughable compared to the NBA. So I feel like G4 was not being reached to enough people in the gaming sphere to warrant to make sure it was succeeding.
Yeah. Okay, Derek, are you ready? You ready to buckle in, baby?
Yeah, let me strap in. Let me strap in real quick. Let me take a sip of water from my stein.
Okay, so G4, man, I love old G4. I loved when it was not even G4, before it was G4. Like, but I loved watching G4 Attack of the Show, specifically X Play. I loved X Play. There were a lot of things going into this relaunch of this channel that was like, okay, this is going to be extremely hard to pull off. Okay. One is they were trying to compete cable wise when cable is dead. Let's just be honest. Like, TV is dead. The only way you can really do something these days is do it through streaming on a streaming platform. I'm not even talking about Twitch. I'm talking about like if you're going to do TV, you got to do it that way. But gaming news and gaming content, as we both know, and everybody that's watching the show, it is a week to week, day to day. Like, even us doing the show once a week, like, there's stuff that's already went and passed by. So we had to be very careful on those things. But this network was already setting themselves up with a disadvantage. And then Amy said they should have put something out as a network on a streaming platform. Exactly. They also they did a lot of streaming on Twitch and everything, but the biggest thing, like, they were doing like D&D, they did some esports stuff, and then they had like so many things, but they really failed to launch here. They also had a really weird structure with their higher ups. They were getting paid crazy amounts. They even started bringing on other people, and dude, there's one streamer, a very famous streamer, that I won't say her name on here because of what she does on her streams and everything. But they paid her 30 grand to come on one day.
Wow.
Yeah. So there were
one day.
That all to be said, these are a lot of the issues that were going on. And to Murdoch's point, their politics suck. they were very vocal. The hosts were very vocal about their political slants and everything.
Oh,
And I love Adam Sessler. Like
yeah.
he is somebody that made me want to be invested in video games, but
Yeah.
like his tirades that he went on social media
Yeah.
really put a lot of people off. And then there was an episode where one of their hosts talked about something. We're not going to get into that, but
Yeah.
they fractured their viewer base and told people,
Mm.
if you don't like it, don't watch. And guess what happened? They didn't watch. A lot of people weren't watching to begin with. So there
Yeah.
are a lot
About
of
say it doesn't work like that. Yes, it's a grand scheme. Like, yes, you know, it's just like everyone has, like, anyone who's a content creator has that stance. It's like, we're not for everyone. Like, I'm sure, like, our show is not for everyone,
yeah,
obviously. And, I know, I don't want to say that they were the early adopters, but, kind of funny was the
yeah,
first, like, original content people, or like one of the earliest people to take that stance.
mhm,
And yes, they are extremely successful. Just go watch their latest
yeah,
video about their new the spare bedroom unveiling.
dude, so awesome.
Um but you can't take that stance. Like, you can take that stance when you're successful or when you believe in your product
Yeah,
enough. When you're a company that's trying to revive, like a phoenix from the ashes, and
mhm,
you don't have much of a viewership to begin with, plus you're on hardly accessible platforms like, or cable channels that, cable, like you said, cable is dying. You can't take that stance
yeah,
yet. Now, if you had started solely on Twitch, maybe you could get away with that, but not on Cox and Xfinity.
yeah. And like they came into the game, they had way too many people on staff. They had like they were already setting themselves up to fail with. It's like they're trying to launch something and they're launching it when they're huge,
Yeah.
like staff wise. Now, do I agree with everything that has been said? No.
No.
Do people have the right to say what they believe?
Yes.
Absolutely. But you have to be careful. Like, yes, you could be vanilla ice cream. I'll take
Yeah.
it. You could be vanilla ice cream, and not everybody wants you, but
Yeah.
vanilla is the most popular flavor of ice cream, Derek. Or
Yeah.
you can be mint chocolate chip.
Oh gosh. No.
Well, they were mint chocolate chip, and then they like put acid in there as
Ew.
a little surprise. Not the drug, but the thing that eats your face off. Like,
Yeah.
like it was very weird. I hate that this has happened. I hate everyone that has lost their job. Do I wish G4 would have made it? I do, because I love G4.
Yeah.
Man, I thought of so many days where I would have loved to work for G4, the old version. This G4,
Yeah.
I would not have wanted to work for, because you could see the writing on the wall even from the very beginning. So, had it only been pocket ice cream, I know, Murdoch. I
What's
know.
up, Dan?
Guys, we're gonna get into some Xbox news. Oh, did
Uh-oh.
we say Xbox news, Derek?
Yeah.
On this
Yeah.
show? Are we sure?
With the two Sony ponies, like, are we okay?
I don't know, man. Can we just? No, we can't skip them because they're very, very important, guys. So,
Yeah.
first up in our Xbox coverage this week, Microsoft's actions post Zenima's acquisition.
ZeniMax.
Well, there's an S on my side,
I changed it to X. I'm sorry. I noticed that.
making me look a fool, Derek, over here.
You don't need help with that. You do that all on your own.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Somebody about to get muted. Microsoft's actions post ZeniMax acquisition are what concerns the UK CMA with it acquiring Activision.
So the UK CMA has published a statement regarding Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, citing that its concerns with granting approval for the acquisition come from Microsoft's actions after acquired ZeniMax, which is the Bethesda company. Quote, third parties told the CMA that Microsoft would benefit from making Activision's content exclusive to Game Pass, and that this would be consistent with Microsoft's behavior in relation to the past acquisitions, including that of ZeniMax Media, where Microsoft did not uphold its promise to continue making Bethesda content available on multiple stores and platforms. Call of Duty is the franchise that's been brought up the most in regards to potentially holding up the deal, but it seems like the CMA is concerned beyond just the one franchise. Quote, most Game Pass rivals lack the popularity and range of content that Game Pass would would own post merger. And given the importance of Activision's content, current and future rivals could be affected by any foreclosure strategies using that content.
Mm-mm-mm.
So I get what they're trying to say, obviously because, Bethesda was different because but to be fair, Bethesda, like Microsoft did honor the deals that they had with Sony with Deathloop having a year of exclusivity,
Yep.
and
Yep.
Ghostwire Tokyo is going to be up beginning of next year for its exclusivity, so it'll come to Xbox in the near future. So they did uphold and they did say, and Microsoft is good about saying, hey, we're going to honor any existing deals,
Yeah.
but you know, it's while they're two big companies, right? But while Bethesda is a big company, to me, they are not on the same level as an Activision Blizzard. Like they do not make billions of dollars
No.
like
No.
Activision Blizzard. So it feels like it's definitely like two different styles. It's definitely two different scenarios. Yes, it does suck because while Microsoft is making Starfield the next big Bethesda RPG, the newest Bethesda RPG, the most that they haven't done a new IP in years exclusive to Xbox, yes, that does suck. But at the same time, Microsoft did not say, "Hey," they did not promise like, "Hey, we'll honor any existing deals, but we're not gonna keep the big exclusives like Elder Scrolls 6 potentially. We don't know that yet. That's still years
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
We're gonna see how that plays out from coming to other platforms. Like they didn't promise that with Activision Blizzard because that company makes billions of dollars, especially with, we'll get into it here in just a minute, it making hand over fist on PlayStation alone.
Oh yeah.
Microsoft knows that they, at the end of the day, they're a company just like Sony. They want to make money, and they want
Yep.
to make as much money as they can, especially as how much they spent on this deal. So obviously, with Call of Duty, for better or for worse, it's one of the biggest franchises in gaming history.
Oh yeah.
They're not going to want to cut their nose to spite their face by making an exclusive. Like, yes, will it come to Game Pass eventually? Of course, but will they make it only on Xbox? No. And I
No.
believe them, like to an extent, like maybe now 10 years from now, who knows? We don't the gaming landscape will be very different a decade from now than it
Oh yeah.
is. But I feel like it's a different scenario with Activision because of how much bigger they are, the opportunities they can have. Like, because we'll get into it later, they're going to open their own little mobile storefront. Um, so there's that stream of revenue. And Microsoft is way different. Is in a better place now. Granted, it's only been a few years since they acquired Bethesda, but they're in a better place. Like they have a lot more infrastructure to put games on other platforms. And they're just kind of more comfortable, like just not wanting to say, "Hey, we want this only on this system."
Yeah.
So it's a different scenario. Like I get where the CMA, like the UK CMA, is going with it, but you can't compare it. It's two different animals.
Yeah. And guys, let us know. Are you concerned about this? Like, are you concerned about that Microsoft is going to, you know, make everything exclusive from Activision, Blizzard, and all of that? From me, Derek, you make a lot of great points.
Mm-hmm.
I want to point out one that they have not done this to, where they have not made it
Mm-hmm.
exclusive, that it's literally gets pushed everywhere, and that is
Minecraft.
Minecraft. My
Yep.
God, everywhere you go, your phone, the Vita had it.
Yeah.
Long live the Vita, baby.
The
So many
3DS had it.
3DS had it, like so many iPads, all these mobile platforms, all of these different places have Minecraft, and it is something that they bought and they did
Yeah.
not make exclusive. Now,
Exactly.
is, you know, Bethesda a different beast? Yeah, it's a different beast. It's not something that can get, yeah, it can go other places, and they've
Yeah.
shown that they are willing to put, like Deathloop on different places. They're willing to, abide by things. So understand where the UK is coming from. It is the largest purchase of a publisher
Yeah.
ever. So there is need to be concerned, but there's also a track record before this Bethesda purchase that Microsoft is not dumb in the fact
Yeah.
that they will, you know, keep putting things out on multiple platforms because they want to make
Mm-hmm.
money.
Yep.
They want to make money. Like I said, they are a company. And let's move into our next portion of this kind of topic in our Xbox coverage. Call of Duty may not appear on Game Pass for a number of years due to a prior Activision Sony deal.
So Microsoft recently published its response to the Competition and Markets Authorities, or the CMA, decision to review the 69 billion with a B merger due to several concerns, including the impact of competition in the console, game streaming, and subscription spaces. In it, a footnote references a tweet from Phil Spencer alluding to, quote, prior agreements between Activision and Sony which would prohibit Microsoft from adding Call of Duty to Game Pass, even in the event of the acquisition being approved. Quote, the agreement between Activision Blizzard and Sony includes restrictions to the ability of Activision Blizzard to place Call of Duty titles on Game Pass for a number of years, the footnote reads. Microsoft has criticized the UK competition regulator's decision to expand its inquiry into the corporation's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard and has claimed that the regulatory board is adopting Sony's complaints without the appropriate level of critical review. It's been speculated that should the acquisition be finalized, Call of Duty, which is often the highest selling game of the year across all consoles, would appear on Microsoft's subscription service, thus severely undercutting Sony when the game would be sold for full price. However, it now appears that even should the merger happen, this couldn't happen for some time. Sony and Activision entered into a co-marketing deal for the Mega franchise during the PS4 generation, a relationship that it has maintained until now, with even this year's Call of Duty title having PlayStation exclusive perks. The CMA's extensive summary of its decision to expand its inquiry and its concern the deal could harm PlayStation and other game subscription services should Microsoft make Activision Blizzard content exclusive to its platform. The regulator is also concerned that Microsoft could use this content to outcompete game streaming rivals such as Amazon and Nvidia. Quote, after examining a range of evidence, the CMA believes that the merger meets the threshold for reference to an in-depth Phase 2 investigation, giving rise to the realistic prospect of a substantial lessening of competition in gaming consoles, multi-game subscription services, and cloud gaming services. Regulators are currently scrutinizing the proposed acquisition worldwide amid antitrust concerns during a time of increasing consolidation in the gaming industry. Phase 2 of the CMA's investigation has seen it appoint an independent panel to scrutinize the deal in further detail and evaluate if it's more than likely than not to result in a substantial lessening of competition. Ultimately, the CMA has the authority to block mergers and acquisitions from being completed if what it determines to be appropriate action isn't taken to address a lessening of competition. So it gets a little bit in the weeds with the jargon later on, but the basis is Call of Duty has a deal, because it started with Black Ops 3 back in 2015, I want to say.
Yeah.
That it had this exclusive deal with content and PlayStation bundles. They did those for a couple years. I think that yes, they will honor the deal that Sony has, because we don't know a lot of these, if they're sports deals, they have a 10-year window to appear on certain consoles for a number of years before the deal runs out and they have to renew it and do all this and that. So I don't know if it's a 10-year deal that Sony has with Microsoft, but they definitely say a couple more years. So you could probably guesstimate anywhere between 3 and 5 at the very least.
Yeah.
I think now there may be a loophole in this. We don't know the exact wording, but I feel like Call of Duty can end up on Game Pass in some capacity. It won't. I think they'll cut it off at Black Ops 3, where it started with Sony. And it's Black Ops 3 till now will not be on Game Pass. But previous Call of Duty titles like World at War, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, that kind of thing could come to Game Pass. Yes, probably via the 360. I don't know, because since they remastered Modern Warfare 1 and 2 a couple years ago, that's a little in the weeds because that was part of one of the higher up edition bonuses that wasn't a Sony thing necessarily. So I don't know. That's going to be more in the weeds, in the fine details. But I think they will add some of the older Call of Duties that were there, because people forget on the 360 era, Xbox had a deal, like a marketing deal
Yep.
with Call of
Yep.
Duty, and all the map packs came a month early before PlayStation. So I feel like those games that they had back in the day can end up on Game Pass, but just up until Black Ops 3.
Yeah, I could definitely see them doing something like that. You know, for me, Derek, there's a lot of jargon in here. It's very interesting how governments can interfere with the
Yeah.
acquisition of something. And this is not the US government. PlayStation is playing a very interesting game. Okay.
Yeah.
They
They're trying to go down the road and be like, hey, let me whisper in your ear real quick. Make
yeah.
it hard for them.
Yeah, because we not only have UK, but we've talked about Brazil
Yeah.
investigating as well. You know, and we'll just be honest, like some of this is kind of churlish on
Yeah,
PlayStation
it
side,
is. It is very like Sony like trying to take their ball to go home.
but I'm gonna just say this: when Game Pass put MLB the Show on there, I think they woke up a giant.
Yeah,
I will just say
they
it.
really did.
You know, and Sony's not gonna play ball. You know, like they're amicable, but I think that was just like, we made this game, we put in all this effort, our resources, our time, and yeah, it's on another console, and we're gonna make money on that. But guess what?
Yeah.
When it comes to Game Pass, I know that we've talked about numbers and all of that, but how many sales did they lose? How many
Exactly.
consoles did they not sell because of that?
Yeah.
You know, that
Because
that
yes, they
could
got
get
a
it.
cut of it from being on Game Pass, but they didn't get the full amount.
Mm-hmm.
They got a guesstimated projection.
Yeah, so I feel like Sony is just like, well, you remember when you put our game on Game Pass? Like it was just the
Not
know,
anymore.
yeah, it's just like, well, and I love Sony. I love Phil Spencer though. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
calling, if it's a ball, I'm calling it a ball. If it's a strike, I'll call it a strike. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna play. We don't play around here, but yeah, I definitely feel like Sony is muddy in the water here, and trying to make it a little bit more difficult than it should be.
Yep.
Because I think at the end of the day, like we said, Xbox is going to want to make money, and they're going to put stuff on both places, and that's kind of the end of it, really, on that end
Exactly.
of thing. So we'll see if the regulatory people are going to let it happen, and then we'll go
And I
from there.
think, and now, granted, I know this, like, obviously we're talking about it now, but I'm sure they've been slowly working on this for the last several months. So it doesn't just like Sony didn't wake up one day and be like, boom, we're going to make this hard for you.
Yeah.
But, I think they're only doing this because, like, it's getting closer and closer to that period where, because they have to review it by the time Bobby Kotick is out next year, like middle of next year. Or it'll be fine. They expect it to be finalized by that time. So Sony has to like make it a struggle for them, as they can, down the road. So it's like, oh, we got less than we got like 6 months left. Let's ramp this up, guys.
Yeah, definitely. So only time will tell. But we got some interesting news today.
Yeah.
Like this and another game. It was like all the spoopy stuff coming out this week. Just like Derek belching out his demon over there.
I know. Sorry.
I just mess with you, right?
But we'll have to report on the other one next week, but we have some news today.
Yes. We got some Silent Hill transmission news, and Derek's going to take it away.
So there was a lot. Like I figured, like when they said, "Oh, we're doing a little like showcase," I'm like, "What else could they show?" Well, they showed me arguably the biggest new. And we're not going to show any videos because family friendly. We're gonna y'all can check those out yourself. Arguably the biggest news from the presentation is that Bloober Team, the developer behind the Medium and other horror games, is remaking Silent Hill 2. The trailer for the game showed scenes from the iconic game with all new visuals. The Silent Hill 2 remake is coming to PC via Steam and will be a PlayStation 5 console exclusive for at least a year after launch. Konami followed up with Silent Hill Townfall, not Downfall, Townfall, a new game from developer No Code, the creators of Observation and Stories Untold. The teaser showed for the game offered little in the way of game details, but the implication is that it will be something different for Silent Hill. Christoph Gans, the director of the original 2006 Silent Hill movie, is returning to create a new Silent Hill film titled Return to Silent Hill. Gans appeared during the presentation to talk about how the movie will be an adaptation of Silent Hill 2. Filming and casting are still in the works, but Gans did have a handful of concept art to share. Next up, Konami shared some of its planned new Silent Hill merchandise. High-end statues of characters like James Sunderland and Mario from Silent Hill 2 were shown, as well as a statue of the comedic non-canon dog ending of Silent Hill 2, where James learns everything happening to him is being controlled by a dog. A plush of the Mastermind dog will also be available soon. Silent Hill Ascension is another new Silent Hills project described as an, quote, interactive video streaming experience with the tagline, Face Your Trauma Together. The multiplayer game featured a number of development partners, including Dead by Daylight creators Behavior Interactive, as well as director J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Games. Little was shown or shared about the gameplay, but it appears as though it will be a form of narrative-driven multiplayer game. Finally, the presentation ended with a pre-rendered trailer for a new mainline Silent Hill game called Silent Hill F. The trailer for the game showed a young woman walking through a Japanese town, dragging a pipe along the ground like Pyramid Head, and eventually being consumed by flowers. When the game will release and what kind of game it will be is currently unclear.
Man, there's a ton of stuff here, and we still got some tidbits and everything. I feel like they're putting the cart before the horse a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, it's been some time since we got anything Silent Hill, and now they're like making a comeback like it's like it never went anywhere. You know, it's treating itself like it's Resident Evil, and not the case. Like it was a good horror series back in the day, but it's not the same fervor.
Yeah.
The other tidbits, real quick, that it pretty much pertains to Silent Hill 2 remake. Will have the best facial expressions in series history, and the combat system has been rebuilt. And also, the remake has, quote, seamless gameplay with no loading screens. Of course, Silent Hill, like, of course, they ended with Silent Hill F, like the new mainline game. And they have some other projects, like a new movie is great, but, you know, of course, the lead of this is Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yeah.
What sticks out to you more? The fact that they're remaking Silent Hill 2 and not 1, or the fact that it will be a PlayStation exclusive for at least a year.
It is interesting that it's a PlayStation exclusive, but I think because Konami has been really lax in their game development, I think they were like, okay, PlayStation, if you give us money, we'll make it an exclusive, and that money will be able to get talent that we need to make the game that we want to make. Because that's usually how it works, is like if you get an exclusive for that long, you're getting a good chunk of change from one of the consoles manufacturers and everything. It is weird that they're going with 2 instead of 1, but I think 2 is the more popular of them.
It's sort of like while Resident Evil 1 got an HD remake years before 2, but you know, 2 was the more popular one and it got a remake, so it started the remake trend. So I mean, I get that part for sure.
Yeah, and I think they're taking a page straight from Resident Evil, with, you know, doing remakes and then having the mainline one, Silent Hill F or whatever it's called. You know, I really do. I keep calling this every time we talk about Konami making anything. I feel like they're trying to dig themselves out of a hole so they can sell.
And I was gonna say, I think also by being a console exclusive, they're trying to, you know, pitch to Sony, hey, you could get us.
You know what would be awesome?
What?
Sony buys Konami. And the Kojima gets to make more Metal Gear.
Oh, or he gets to make Silent Hills.
Yeah, or that, you know, it's just like, okay, we get rid of all these toxic people that ran Kojima, one of the best creators there's been in forever, you know. Out, you know, that would be just like sweet poetry.
Oh, it would
be amazing. It'd be amazing. Speaking of PlayStation. Let's talk about some PlayStation news.
Yes, sir.
We talked about the CMAs, not the Country Music Awards, but you know, that would be hilarious. if it was a Country Music Awards. Sony reportedly delayed a new PlayStation showcase due to the CMA investigation.
The format holder had reportedly planned to host the showcase on October 20th, today, and would have included a number of major reveals, including a new game from Hideo Kojima, as well as a Silent Hill announcement. Sony supposedly delayed the event as it was felt it would add weight to Microsoft's comments in the CMA investigation. In case you haven't been following our coverage, the CMA is currently investigating Microsoft for the planned acquisition with the intention of determining whether or not it could weaken competition within the games industry. It would have been nice, but I feel like Sony, it probably wouldn't have been good timing anyway because they're fixing to ramp up with holiday season, and it's like, if this was a month ago, yes, for sure, it would have been terrible to delay it. But we're a few weeks away, like from God of War. I feel like showing anything else, like getting people hyped for next year, would take away from the fact of God of War releasing. So I feel like they chose, like, yes, not saying that the CMA thing didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they looked at it internally and was like, let's not take we're 3 weeks, 19 days away from God of War Ragnarok. Let's not take any bluster and fervor or wind out of its sails with announcements of the future, because those will come. They can do that. They could do this well after. They could pop up in December at Game Awards and be like, oh, by the way, we're going to do a showcase right before the day before Game Awards goes. But I feel like it was more to do with that than anything.
Yeah, I do think it has something to do with this investigation, because Microsoft is like, it's like when you and your brother get in trouble and the older brother, because I was the baby, you know what I mean? The older brother is getting chewed, and he's like, well, he was right there with me, Derek, because you were the older brother. He was there with me. Why is it? And it's like, you're just giving him puppy dog eyes. It's just like, I didn't know what was going on. I'm just a little kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Sony's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. They the bullies. You know what I mean? Like that's
they're trying to take my toys from me.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of that, but I think if it goes further than just this, investigation, I think, don't take any steam away from God of War. Like, you need to be pushing full steam ahead on that, and not anything else. And speaking of 2023, though, Derek, Marvel's Wolverine release date due in 2023, claims Microsoft.
And a little bit of behind the curtain, this was going to be a PlayStation quickie, but then I read the article. I'm like, no. Let me put this in. Let me actually put this article out there, because I do want to speculate a little bit. The claim was spotted by Tech for Gamers and made during a regulatory filing published by the Competition and Markets Authority this week, which is currently investigating Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. In it, Microsoft outlines a number of exclusives coming to PS5. Quote, PlayStation has a spate of first-party and third-party exclusive titles lined up for launch in 2023, including Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, Horizon, Final Fantasy 16, and Forspoken. Sony and Insomniac Games haven't announced any release window for Marvel's Wolverine yet, with the game having been announced last year as being very early in production. Therefore, it's possible that Microsoft's claims were simply made in error. So, it's interesting to see Horizon, which, last week we talked about Silence Actor, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, but Silence Actor tweeting that he's working on something with Horizon Forbidden West, and then the tweet got deleted, which means DLC. So you can speculate DLC. We knew Spider-Man 2 was next year. Forspoken's in January, and Final Fantasy 16 for what Square Enix talks about, it's on track for next year. Wolverine, though, it is interesting that 2023, I don't think it's going to happen for two reasons. One, like they said, it's early in production.
Yeah.
They didn't even give a date for it. They didn't even give a year for it, which Spider-Man 2, when it was announced last year, they did give a year, 2023. Yep. I feel like if they were confident enough for Spider-Man 2, they would have done it for Wolverine. And another thing is, Insomniac's not gonna cut themselves off at the heel. They're not gonna they're not gonna cannibalize themselves. Like, even if they put Spider-Man 2 out in March and Wolverine out in November, like how Sony did Horizon and God of War. Um, I don't think they want to do that. And plus, that's too much stress on them. Like, even if they built up a second team really fast, I don't think they have the assets, nor because it's a CG trailer. Like, granted, Spider Man 2
Yeah.
was, but I feel like it's going to be more ready than Wolverine 2 because Wolverine 2, we just got a bar scene
Yeah.
and like 2 lines of dialogue. That was it. Now I do think we will see more of Wolverine because we have like that with Spider-Man 2 we haven't seen since last year. So I think we'll see it, but I don't think we'll even like unless the only possible way is if they do some type of is if this is not the game we're thinking of, which I doubt. Like it's going to be a multiplayer centric game and they do a beta for it, you know, and it's going to come out in 2024 and they're going to do like an early like alpha or beta for it like in sometime in 2023, but I highly doubt it. That's pie in the sky semantics, but I
Yeah.
I think it is an error, but I do think we do see some type of footage again for Wolverine next year.
Oh yeah, I agree. We see Wolverine next year, and I feel like Game Awards we're going to see Spider-Man 2, 100%.
Yeah.
I think the horizon that they might be talking about is Call of the Mountain.
Oh yeah, because yeah, VR
Yeah.
is early next year, and Call of the Mountain, yeah, that could be true,
Yeah.
or it could be that supposed like because we talked about some Horizon news last week or 2 weeks ago, the remaster of Zero
Yeah.
Dawn, or the supposed multiplayer game that is out there.
Yeah. Well, and like I understand where Microsoft is coming from. It's like, they've got PlayStation has a robust first party system,
Yeah,
but they built that up over years and years and years. They didn't start going out and buying people until Microsoft started ponying up
Yeah.
and trying to buy everything, so they're like, okay, well, we got to buy stuff too. So, does PlayStation have a lot of stuff? Yeah, they do. What about Xbox? What
Yeah.
about all the things coming out next year for Xbox?
yeah.
You know?
Like, where's State of Decay 3? Where's the new Forza Motorsport? Like when's Fable? Like when is that going to be a thing?
Yeah, it's like they have way more way more, I feel like, developers than Sony does.
Oh
Because
yeah, for sure.
they bought more, and it's like because I'm gonna just say it, because of poor management, we can't help that you don't know how to manage your studios. Like I feel like
Yeah.
that's how Sony kind of looks at it. It's like you can't blame us for being able to do more with less.
Exactly.
It's like we've built a culture here that we put out good games.
Yeah.
Why isn't the Coalition making a new Gears of War? Why do you keep shipping them off over to
Yeah.
other people to finish their games? Stop doing that, for the
Yeah.
love of all things good. I want Gears 6. Where's the story go? My
Yeah.
gosh,
It's been 3 years.
and then we get Senua. Like, when is Senua ever going to come out?
Yeah, like we keep seeing like last year at Game Awards we got like a 6-minute gameplay trailer. Like
Yeah.
if you're showing off that kind of chunk of gameplay, you should be getting ready in the next year or so.
Yeah, it's like there are so many things that they've got at their fingertips, and it's like, well, we got to buy more. We got to buy more, and it's like,
Yeah.
trust me, I've been in the business of buying gear, Derek. Okay.
Yeah.
You look at other people that make content and everything. It's like, well, if I get this, then I can do exactly what they have, and it's like, well, if I buy Activision Blizzard, then I can make games on the same level. It's like
Right.
I'm sorry, like Call of Duty might sell really great, but good Call of Duties have not come out in a long time.
Nope.
Do they sell awesome? Yeah.
Yeah.
Has Blizzard made amazing games? Yeah, but they haven't made great expansions in a while.
Nope.
So, Dragonflight might prove us wrong. But anyway, why I'm saying all of this is Sony is managing their stuff well. Microsoft is not. They are only like they just continue to buy more stuff. And that's their issue, is like they're not managing. They're just like, oh, well, I'll just go buy something else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's funny cuz this goes back to like the documents that were leaked in the Apple v Microsoft court rulings, because it's like, oh, a lot of stuff that was, that didn't happen, that was hush hush, got leaked, and it was like the possibility. So it feels like this is all happening again with this CMA investigation into the Microsoft Blizzard
Yeah.
and Activision acquisition. It's like, oh, by the way, Sony has these games that are coming out next year, and it's like, all right, bro, like I know you're mad, but don't start telling everyone's dirty secrets yet.
Yeah. And I think you meant Apple Epic.
Yeah, Apple Epic, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, you could throw rocks, but you in a glass house too, bro.
Exactly.
You in a
It'll
glass
shatter
house too.
just as hard.
Oh, but we got some PlayStation quickies, guys. Here we go.
So to start off, the PS5 DualSense Edge controller, which is their elite controller, will cost $200 and release on January 26th. That $200 price point hurts a little bit, but expected. Sony files new patent describing mid-air haptics using ultrasound waves. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection on PC is verified for Steam Deck. Spider-Man Miles Morales PC release date set for November 18th. We talked about it being November last week, but didn't give an actual date. Spider-Man 2 is still scheduled to launch on PS5 in 2023. God of War Ragnarok for the PS4 download size reportedly weighs in at a whopping 120 gigabytes. So if you have a 500 gig, make sure you have space. God of War Ragnarok's first behind-the-scenes video is all about shaping the story, which is 10 minutes long, is the only reason I didn't include that in the videos tonight. God of War Ragnarok was almost split into 2 games, and they go into that in the behind-the-scenes as well.
Before we hit the quick hits, let's put the timer back up. They're 19 days, Eric. 19 days, and we get to cuddle up. We get to get our snuggies on. Turn off the phones. I might even take the day off. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I might.
I'm glad you said that, because I need to put in a day off request, because I need to go down to Dothan to pick up my Jotnar edition. So I'm gonna take that day off for sure, or try to.
Yeah, I might take the day off, Derek, and just because at my job I get unlimited time off.
Oh yeah.
So just take the day off. What are you doing? I need me a me day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Need me a me day. It's like, you've only been here like a month. It's like, well, I need me a
par
me
for
day.
the course. It's a Gen Z thing to do, right?
Yeah.
You get hired, and then I need 2 weeks of vacation.
Yeah, 100%. It's like when you don't get Thanksgiving off. It's like, I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, God of War is soon to be upon us, Derek. But you know what's quicker than God of War? You know what is quicker than lightning?
The quick hits.
The quick hits.
Faster than the fastest man alive, Barry Allen, on the Flash TV show.
Yeah, your Zoom.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh, Tony Todd, great choice.
Yes.
Anyway, so start off with some Overwatch 2 news. Overwatch 2 disables aim assist on consoles when using crossplay, and players aren't happy. Overwatch 2 won't be rebalanced until December. Disney's Dreamlight Valley Scar update is out now. Marvel's Midnight Suns campaign will take about 50 hours with outside activities. Pokemon Sword and Shield won't be supported past November, which is when Scarlet and Violet come out, so that's expected. Elden Ring DLC and ray tracing could be in the cards, according to data miners. Following that, Bandai Namco is putting on an Elden Ring concert, and it's improvisational jazz. Star Trek Resurgence has been delayed till April of 2023. Gotham Knights will only run at 30 frames per second and will offer no performance mode on consoles. Heroic Assault, a 4-player online co-op mode, is being added to Gotham Knights on November 29th. Splinter Cell Remake director has left Ubisoft after 11 years. Minecraft Dungeons Halloween content is out now. EA is the latest Ubisoft to join in on closing online services for multiple games in the months ahead. To start off today, actually, Army of Two, the 40th Day, and Army of Two, the Devil's Cartel are now shut down. On November 9th, you will see Mercenaries 2, Command & Conquer Red Alert 3, and Command & Conquer Tiberium Wars, plus the Kane's Wrath expansion, be shut down. On November 30th, you will see Onrush be shut down. And lastly, Mirror's Edge, Gatling Gears, Shank 2, and NBA Jam On Fire Edition will shut down on January 19th. Xbox Elite Series 2 controllers are now customizable in the Xbox Design Lab. Microsoft plans Xbox mobile storefront to rival Apple and Google. A Plague Tale Requiem dev admits, quote, the door is never closed in regards to follow-up, but nothing is planned right now. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Special Ops mode to receive 3-player raids. Warner Brothers Games announces Mortal Kombat Onslaught, a mobile exclusive RPG. Netflix is launching a new gaming studio led by former Overwatch producer. Devil May Cry 5 has surpassed 6 million sales worldwide. And lastly, Neo: The World Ends With You gets a surprise release date on Steam today.
Derek, we come out of the gate swinging.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Always do, or at least try to do.
Overwatch 2 disabling aim assist on consoles. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I play with a PC guy all the time. He's always complaining about aim assist, how controller players got it good with aim assist and all that.
Yeah.
Always playing with that, all that kind of stuff. But it's like when you literally have like the motion of your whole arm for a mouse compared to your thumb, it's like, aim assist has to be on there. Bad move, Overwatch. Fix that, because that is not like, I can understand. It's like, oh well, blah blah blah. It's like, dial it in, figure it out. Just don't turn it off. Like that's
exactly.
That's no bueno. That's no bueno. Gotham Knights running at 30 FPS, 30 FPSs, getting capped to that. That ain't cool. When you drop last gen, from your game,
it should be able to push a little bit more. And it doesn't have performance mode on consoles. Like, that's even weirder.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what you're doing over there. WB Montreal, I took up for them a lot.
Yeah, but now they're not repaying your kindness.
I know. It's like they just spitting in my face. But I've taken up for WB Montreal a lot. Arkham Origin, probably my favorite Arkham game, story-wise.
Yeah.
And you over here just spitting in my face. No performance mode. And then we come in here and you finish me off with Splinter Cell remake directors left. It's like, my gosh, can I not win?
No, you can't.
Can I not win over here? I need to call Shuhei up. I need to hear his voice tonight and be like, Shuhei, is it going to be okay?
Some good news.
And he'd be like, my son. And I was like, there we go. That's all I needed. Just my son.
The quick hits are like the bad news bears for you tonight.
I know, dude. It was just, ooh. And then, did you ever play Mercenaries?
No.
The first one. I didn't play the second one. The first one was amazing, dude. Amazing. Murdoch says, we make it 30 years and they pushing an RPG. Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I know. It's just like, what's going on here? Second one was good too. I never played the second one. Me and my brother loved Mercenaries 1. Like, it was amazing, dude. Like, it was like Just Cause before Just Cause like came out.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like it was like everything was destructible. There was like a deck of 52, like you were like, it was essentially like you were in like Korea or whatever, and like you would capture assets and like you would get money for it. And you would get more and more money. You would get better gear. You'd get better vehicles. You could get tanks. You could get helicopters, like all of these cool things. Calling it a bunker buster on a building. So yeah, exactly. You could call it airstrikes. Like, dude, it was amazing. It was way before its time. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
Way before its time in game design and everything. But, I wish they would make another Army of Two. Those games were dope.
Yeah, those, like, the second one, the ending got kind of weird a little bit, but the first one was great, obviously, and then the third one, while it had a different set of protagonists, like, it got back to what made Army of Two special. So, like, the first one is still the best in my opinion, but I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely do another one. Like, maybe, if this Dead Space remake takes off in January, maybe EA opens the door and brings back, does an Army of Two remake.
Maybe.
Does a Mercenaries remake,
Maybe. Like, I feel like Army of Two is like a double A kind of game. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it fits a certain vein. Same thing with Kane and Lynch. I liked Kane and Lynch. It's interesting. Like, when you look at, like, It Takes Two, that
Oh yeah,
that developer, like they're doing what
yeah.
Kane and
Hazelight.
Lynch, yeah, Hayes like doing what Kane and Lynch and Army of Two did way before them. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like
exactly.
when you think about it, it's like that was done way before them, but they're doing it. They're doing it so well. Like I'm not saying that those were better games than It Takes Two because there's so much depth in that game.
Right.
Murdoch says agreed. They need both of those to come back. I agree 100%. I feel like games have become much like movies where they're not going to take the risk unless there's the reward is pretty much guaranteed.
Yep.
Because like you think of the way movies used to work, and I might have talked about this before. Back in the day where they would make half of the money on the box office and then they would make up the rest in DVD sales, and that's
Yep.
not a thing anymore.
Nope.
And that's kind of like how it is with games now. It's like, yeah, they're charging a little bit more, but it's costing way more to make
Yep.
games these days. And you know, everybody wants open world, everybody wants this, that, and the other, and it's like, you know what I want? I just want a good story.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Just tell me a bedtime story and tuck me in. That's all I want.
Yeah. And you know what had good stories, Derek?
What is that?
The PlayStation Vita.
Yeah. Mm. You almost had me. You almost had me.
You have a handheld Uncharted game. You got Freedom Fighters. You got Gravity Rush.
I mean, Freedom Wars?
Yeah, Freedom Wars. I don't know.
Fake fan. You can't even know the games. I'm just messing with you.
You got Taco Master, baby. You got Taco Master.
Oh my gosh.
I still when I get my PlayStation Vita, that's the game I go to first is Taco Master to make some tacos.
Just make some real life tacos on Taco Tuesday. Come on, bro.
It's not the same, dude.
Yes, it is because you can actually eat them.
No, man, I gotta look at that OLED screen. It's like real life. Just like this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that follow, that subscribe. That's what we do here over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button so you don't miss out on anything. We do the show each and every week at 7 p.m. Central Time right here in our little slice of the internet. It's going to be a part of it. Make sure to check out our podcast version, which will get updated. And make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all those good places, Nerd Cave Network. Go show us some love. And if you want to support us, you can go check us out over on patreon.com/nerdcave and go over to the Epic Game Store and use creator code NerdCave at checkout. Guys, this has been Zach.
I forgot my name already. Holy cow. I need to.
Ricky the Steamboat.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
There you go. He's had too many hits to the head, guys. So
yeah, really.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Y'all have a blessed week. Bye.